so
എന്താ
simple to execute, so simple to implement,
ലൈവിൽ കയറി
and
നോക്കി നീ
it is innovative
ഇൻസ്റ്റഗ്രാം
in a
ലൈവ്
way
അല്ല
it is.
വാട്സപ്പ്
Uh,
ലൈവ് ഉണ്ടോ
it
ഉണ്ടോ
needn't be
നോക്കി.
something like, okay, this is
വാട്സപ്പ് ലൈവോ?
to
എടാ നീ
like
നോക്ക്
what to
ലൈവ്
say.
കൊണ്ടോ നോക്ക്
It's
യൂട്യൂബിൽ.
yeah, it
ലിങ്ക് എവിടെയാ?
needn't be an arc
ലിങ്ക്
reactor
എവിടെയാ?
or an
ലിങ്ക്
Iron Man cube. That's what I have to say. It needn't be an Iron Man cube. It is something so simple, like something that can easily pick stones from the rice. That's an innovative thing.
ലിങ്ക്
Like not much people are able to do it something creatively like
മെസ്സേജ്
that.
അയച്ചാൽ
So
പോരെ.
if you are able to bring something like that, generate as many ideas as possible. That is the first phase in planning that you guys need to do as soon as possible if you haven't started that. And second thing is filter the ideas.
യെസ്
So
ലൈവ് നൗ.
when you're filtering, you need to ask these questions like,
യെസ് കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ട്.
does the idea
കയറി നോക്ക്,
solve a
ശബ്ദം
given
കേൾക്കണ്ടോ
problem?
നോക്ക്.
Like you're having a
ഉണ്ട്
problem
ഉണ്ട്
with
ഉണ്ട്.
that idea, that's an innovative thing.
ലിങ്ക്
Like any
not
part or
much
any
people are able
subpart
to
of the
do
problem,
something
when it is
creative
like
like
that,
that.
നോയ്സ്
so
ഉണ്ടോടാ?
then you can take that and generate as many
ഒരു
ideas as
വോയിസ് ഓക്കെ.
possible. Is this idea creative or innovative? That is second question. Like if this idea is a creative or innovative idea, well and good to
റൈറ്റ്
have
സൈഡിൽ
it
നിന്നാണ്.
because that's going to impact your evaluation pretty much. And
റൈറ്റ്
the
സൈഡിൽ
next
ചെറിയൊരു
and most
നോയ്സ്
important
ഉണ്ട്.
question is how much time is necessary for
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ
implementation. Like
ശബ്ദം
you
കേൾക്കണ്ടോ?
can try to create a Facebook, but you
നോക്കണം.
need to understand that creating something like a Facebook will take a huge lot of time. So you can't create the entire stuff. So if you're planning to create
നോയ്സ്
something like
ഉണ്ട്.
that, just create something like whether you're having a wall or a social media interaction. Try to create the basic thing because you're having a time constraint. You need to think like, okay, whether this idea is feasible within the given time constraint. If it's possible, then well and good, you can go with that. And the last thing, that is something like that sets apart a team which is winning
അതിന്റെ
and a
ലാഗ്
team which
ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്
won't
ചെറുതായിട്ട്.
win. Like having a potential killer feature.
ചേട്ടൻ
A
ലാഗ്
killer feature
ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്.
is a feature like that we consider to be something like that is
ഇപ്പൊ ഓക്കെ, ഇപ്പൊ
highly
എല്ലാം ഓക്കെ.
innovative, highly creative, that can solve a problem in a beautiful way that no one is
ക്ലിയർ
ever
ആണ്,
able to think about.
എല്ലാം
And
ഓക്കെയാണ്.
I can assure that in a hackathon that takes part, like we have got about 1,400 something registrations. In that, only 10 or 20 will be able to come up with that killer idea. So
like
don't
that
worry,
we
like
consider to be
if you
something
don't
like
have a killer idea, it's perfectly
that
fine
is
because having a
ഇപ്പൊ
killer
ഓക്കെ, ഇപ്പൊ
idea
എല്ലാം
and
ഓക്കെയാണ്.
implementing a killer
highly
idea is two
creative
different
that
things.
can solve your
Like if
problem
you have a
in a
killer idea,
beautiful
it's
way
good,
that no
but
one is able
you
to
need to implement that first. If you're not able to implement that, then it's of no use. So filtering the ideas, give that first of all you need to generate ideas, then you need to filter ideas, and then is the most important thing: prioritize and define the critical path. So whenever you're trying to build
ഓക്കെ.
something, you need to have a clear plan, like what you're going to
ഇപ്പൊ
build.
ആരാണ് മെസ്സേജ് അയച്ചു?
You can simply say that, okay, I will build this thing, that thing, we have got this, we can do that, we can do this. And a lot of people will be crumbling or moving with
ഓക്കെ.
a lot of stuff. Like
എവിടെ
will be
കയറണം?
trying to
എല്ലായിടത്തും
build
കയറട്ടെ?
everything at
അതോ
once.
ജസ്റ്റ്
Don't
അനൗൺസ്മെന്റ്സ്
do that.
ഉണ്ടാക്കിയോ?
Don't make that mistake. That's a mistake that majority of the teams are making. Sit down with the team, plan properly, try to prioritize, which is your priority one feature, like which is the most important feature that you need to develop, and develop that first. Because this priority one feature is what we are, is something like which can give a very glimpse of a very clear cut idea of what you're trying to solve or what is the solution that you're bringing up. And all other features may be an add on to this particular thing. Like in the development world or in the software or in any hardware development world, we give something like we are having a like different types of flow. One is
എന്നിട്ട്
the
എല്ലായിടത്തും
direct flow or
കിട്ടട്ടെ?
the simple flow
അതോ
or the
ജസ്റ്റ്
basic flow. You need to first of all solve the
അനൗൺസ്മെന്റ്സ് മാത്രം
basic
മതിയോ?
flow. So what a basic flow is like,
ഓക്കെ.
like for example, you are
എല്ലാരും
building an
മനസ്സിലാക്കി.
e-commerce platform. Consider you are building an e-commerce platform. You should be able to log in. You should be able to validate yourself.
ഓക്കെ.
That's the login part. Then you should be able to search for a product. You should be able to add that product to the cart. You should be able to see the prices. You should be able to see a summary. You should be able to pay the price. You should be able to get
ലൈഫ്.
the proper tracking, and you should be able to get the product. These are the 7 steps that's involved in an e-commerce. That is a basic part. So first of all, you need to build that. Having a chat, having a query management, or having a feature in which you can having a wish list feature, or having it categorized into brands or categories, or applying filters, applying sort. All those things come secondary. The most important thing is like you need to have a platform where user can log in, they can search for a product, they can add that product to the cart, they can buy that, and they can get that. This is the basic flow. So this is something we call as a critical path. So make sure like you focus on the critical path. Like that is a critical path, a minimum set of features that is required uh, for the presentation. I would say like that is a minimum set of features that is required for the product to work
എന്തോ?
as it is. So you should be able to create a presentation. That's the main
Okay,
important thing.
okay.
Like whatever you're developing, you should be able to present that. So in order to present that, you should be able to create the basic flow. So creating that basic flow is where the everything about an hackathon comes up. Okay. So let's go back to our planning phase. So that's all about ideas. You need to have it. You need to generate ideas, filter ideas. You need to prioritize that. You need to identify the critical path and make sure you implement that. And next is scope. Like this is something that is aligned with the critical path or the prioritization. You need to make sure like
ആരുമില്ല.
first of all, you build the critical path or the most
രണ്ടുപേരുള്ളൂ.
basic flow. You need to complete that. Then, after it is safe or secure, like we would say, it's what is it, production ready, or when the code is ready to be shown, or when it's working properly, you can keep that in a branch. Like if you are using a version control system, you can keep it in a separate branch, saying that it is something like stable. So once you are stable, you can build other features over that. So when you're scoping, you need to scope it in such a way like you create the critical path or the basic flow first. After that, you add on other features over top of it. Like you should be adding other features on top of this critical path or the basic flow. That's the only way you will be able to win a hackathon. Because having an awesome idea doesn't make you win a hackathon. It's how you implement it. Like if you're able to finish your product up to some level or a minimum viable product, I would say, like a minimum level, if you're able to finish your product, the chance of you winning is pretty much high rather than having a very awesome idea and not able to implement it properly. So hackathon is about finding the simple solutions or finding the solution. So you need to implement the solution and prove that yeah, it is viable. And try to create a prototype. Whenever we are okay, yeah, so before development, okay, whenever we are telling about prototype, it's not like create a code based prototype, just have a drawing, like take a pen up, take a paper, you just draw what you want to do, like the flow, everything, just keep it in paper and it will be easy for you guys to understand what you need to develop at the time. So and this is the part, like since it's an online hackathon, this is the part where you need to start focusing on for the 40 hours
അനന്തരം ഞാനിപ്പോ വരാം
developing.
കേട്ടോ. ഒറ്റ
So
മിനിറ്റേ.
first thing, so whenever you are okay, whenever you are going for development, there are some things that you need to keep in mind or you need to consider because this helps you to achieve the results pretty much easier. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a clear-cut priorities. You need to have all the tasks ready for doing. So first thing is having task. Like when the development time starts, like when the hackathon starts, each member should have a task to do. No one should be sitting idle thinking that they haven't, their time is not ready. Like every member of the team should be having a task that they need to do. And then next most important thing is having meetings. Like you can set a timer for 2 hours or 3 hours. Like since it's an of online hackathons, if you guys can assemble in one place, it's well and good. If not, you guys will be in different places, like in your homes. So it will be nice to set a regular meetings in a time span of 2 to 3 hours. So one thing is like it will help you
നീ
track the
സെഷൻ അറിയോ
progress. Like if
രഞ്ജേട്ടന്റെ?
you're what is the progress of others, whether it's going meeting the expected timeline, whether you guys will be able to deliver what
വേറെ
you
ആരും ഇല്ല
promise on the
ചെയ്യില്ല.
expected timeline. That's the one thing you can do, and you can identify whether there is any blockers.
150
Blockers is
കിട്ടിക്കുന്ന
something like
പ്രശ്നം.
whether you are stuck or stumbled upon, whether you can't move forward
എന്റെ
because you're
മോന്
not able
ഇത്ര
to solve
മുഴുവൻ
that.
അറിയോ?
For example, like
ഞാൻ
while you are
ഞാൻ
writing
ഷാബിനാസ്
something for a
പോസ്റ്റ്
login
റിലീസ്
page,
കൊടുത്തിട്ട് നിയമോഫീസ്
you are
സമ്മതിച്ചിട്ടാണോ
writing the
നിയമോഫീസിനോട്
backend
സമ്മതിക്കാൻ
and
പോയത്?
you are not able to get a proper response. Like there's some issue with the hashing function that you're using.
ഞാനോ
If
നീ
something
വിളിക്കാൻ
like that
പറഞ്ഞു
is
പറഞ്ഞു.
there and you are not able to solve that, update that in the team meeting because someone else in the team who might be
കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. മിസ്
having
4
some
മണിക്കാണ്
ideas of how
വിചാരിച്ചിരുന്നത്.
to solve that
നാലേമുക്കാലായപ്പോ
will be
എന്താ
able to
ചോദിച്ചു,
help
അപ്പൊ
you.
വിളിക്കാൻ പറഞ്ഞു. പിന്നെ വിളിച്ച്
And
കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു.
that
പിന്നെ
is one thing.
മറ്റേ പെർമിഷൻ
And
റെഡി
if
ആയി,
you're
ഈ
having
പെർമിഷൻ റെഡി ആയി,
blockers,
എൽ പെർമിഷൻ
like
റെഡി ആയി എന്നൊക്കെ
whenever
പറഞ്ഞ്
you are
എല്ലാം കൂടി
stuck
പറഞ്ഞ്
on a
മിസ്സിനെ കൂടി
particular
സെറ്റാക്കി
point
വിട്ടു.
or if you are stuck on a feature, there should be
ഇനിയിപ്പോ
static
ചെയ്യാൻ
fix
പറ്റുന്ന
or
കാര്യം എന്നാ?
reject. Either you can fix that, either you can
പെർമിഷൻ
fix
സെറ്റ്
the
ആയിട്ടില്ല.
blockers, you can spend time on it,
ബോസ് സാറിനെ ഇപ്പം
or
വിളിക്കണം.
you can reject
ഇനിയും
that.
വിളിച്ച്
If that
ഒപ്പിടാൻ പറയണം
feature is not
സാറിനോട്.
critical
സാറിന്
to
സാധനം
your
മെയിൽ ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കാൻ
solution,
പറഞ്ഞാൽ മെയിൽ
whether
ചെയ്ത്
that
കൊടുത്തു.
feature is not highly necessary,
അത്
because in the previous thing that I
കുഴപ്പമുണ്ടാവില്ല.
said, hashing a password is not necessary for an MVP because everyone knows we
ഏത്
can hash passwords
ശരി,
for easy security and all. So for the
സെഷൻ അല്ലേ?
hackathon, when you're creating an MVP, hashing is
സെഷൻ
not
തീർത്തിട്ടോ ഞാൻ
a
പോയിട്ട് ഇനി
critical thing.
കൃപേനെ
So if
വിളിക്കട്ടെ.
you're not able to do that, it's fine. Just reject that, and you can go with
ശരി,
the basic
ഞാൻ
flow.
സെഷനിലില്ല.
So that's it. Yeah, like whenever you're having a
ശരി.
blocker, it's a critical decision that you have to make whether you need to build that or you need to reject that because the cost is pretty much high. If it's costing you too much of your time, like too much of your calculate time, then it's not. I wouldn't advise you guys to follow up on that. Just reject that. So you need to have a clear-cut idea on which all things that you need to do, or if you're stuck on somewhere, whether you need to continue with this or reject that. That's something that most people find difficult because they think, okay, yeah, this is one feature that I have said I will do and I am not able to deliver. Don't think like that because it's a competition. You need to win. So if you're not able to deliver that, just forget, move on to the other feature because it's not that much critical. Like if you're having 10 to 20 features, building 10 features is fine. That's cool because like you are not doing something like you are not developing a product that needs to go into the market. You are building something that needs to be evaluated in the presentation only. Okay, keep that in mind. Yeah, that's the thing. Like MVP, like this, you are building only a MVP. Like you need just proving that your idea can be implemented. So uh, okay, yeah, cool, cool. Yeah, someone is muting me. Please don't do that. Okay. Okay. So yeah, MVP. What it means is like those are familiar with Android application development. You can either build the application Android native, or you can use React Native or full stack, or you can even use MIT App Inventor. For an hacker, an MIT App Inventor, if you can use that, it's perfectly fine because you are not like you are not creating an architecturally perfect or something that need to go into the market. You just need to validate your idea. Like the product or the solution that you're developing is simply validating what you're saying. Like this is my solution for this particular problem. You are need to validate the solution. That's why you're building this product. It's not for uh, releasing it in the market. Just believe me, guys, when I say this, just remember this in your mind because none of the products, none of the startups has developed the product in the initial stack that they have developed it with. Like majority of the startups are developing something in a stack that is familiar, and once they are at the point like where they need to scale up, they will switch to another stack which is easy to scale. Which is easy for the business and a lot of other things. Like when you're coming for a hackathon, don't try to think all those aspects. Just try to think in this aspect like whether this can be implemented, whether this is ready for using. That's what we need to know. You needn't bother about the scaling too much because having a product that works is that matters more than having a product that is able to scale. Okay. So next is simplify. Having a very complex feature needn't help you. Try to create simple features which is easy for the judges or the evaluators or the audience to understand. Like when you're Benita Babu, who is like she's constantly muting me. Uh, Please don't do that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So okay, Benita left the meeting. Nice. So yeah, that's where I was talking. Simplifying. Like implement things like you need to present the whole thing that you developed. Like whenever the judges is asking you a question, you should be able to say that how you have did this. Or if you simply developed something and you are saying it, I developed it, the judges need not believe you because you can give it to some other seniors or somebody you know. So you need to be able to implement that in a way, in a manner in which you will be able to present it as a concept, how you have done it. And guys, don't go behind perfection in a hackathon. Hackathon is not about perfection. Always remember you're building a prototype. This is the basic and most important things that you need to follow while you're developing for a hackathon. And hackathons is all about finding problems and solutions. The winning or the victory comes of 50% of your presentation. So the most important thing or the most important part is presentation. And you are developing a prototype or you're developing a solution for presentation purpose only. Understand that it's for presentation that you're building the everything. So 50% is the idea, 50% is the presentation, 30% is only the idea that values. Like the idea that you develop, it's only 30%, and 20% is how you implement it. It's all in the presentation. Like you can be having a most lame or the most silly idea, but if you're able to present it in such a beautiful manner, you guys might win a hackathon because presentation is what matters the most in all these things. Because you might know like 1 minute pitches or the elevator pitch or all those things are happening in this world. Like whenever you are having an idea that you need to pitch to someone, they'll be giving you 1 minute and you need to present that everything in 1 minute. Your idea,
Hello.
your implementation, that doesn't matter. How you present that in 1 minute, that's what matters. So
Parada.
focus on your presentation pretty much. And Another important thing is like whenever you are planning, you
Hello.
keep this in mind. As per
Bill
Murphy's
പറയടാ.
law, if you know something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Just believe like that.
ഫിനിച്ചേട്ടന്റെ
Like,
ഒരു
if you know
ലൈവ്
something can
പോകുന്നില്ലേ?
go wrong while
ആ
you're presenting or you're
അതിനിടയ്ക്ക്
developing,
ഒരാൾ കോൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന
just
കേൾക്കാം.
believe
ആരാ
that it
ലൈവ്
will go wrong
ഇട്ടോണ്ടിരിക്കണേ?
and develop the thing. I am saying this because like some people might
കോള്
take
ചെയ്യണ
it
കേൾക്കാണോ എന്ന്
into
വെച്ചാല്
a wishful
ആരാ
thinking,
ലൈവ്
like okay,
വിട്ട്
this
ആരാ
will work,
പ്രസന്റ്
there won't
ചെയ്യുന്ന
be an
ലൈവ്
issue.
പോകുന്ന
You
അതില്
might know
ലൈവ്
there's
പോണ
some kind
അരവിന്ദ്.
of an issue and it
ആ
isn't going
എന്നാ
to be a big deal if
അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ
it works fine.
ഒരു
But don't go with
13
that
മിനിറ്റ്സ്
assumption. If you know
ആദ്യത്തെ
something can go wrong,
തുടങ്ങിയ ഒരു
definitely it
7-8
will go wrong
മിനിറ്റിന്
during the
ശേഷം
presentation or any time of the
അവനാര്
process.
കോൾ
So
ചെയ്തെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. ആ കോൾ
don't take
ചെയ്യുന്ന
that kind of
സംഭവം
an
ഓഡിയോ
wishful
മൊത്തം
thinking
അതിൻ്റെ
into your
കേൾക്കാം.
development.
ഞാനത്
Just
ഇപ്പൊ ലൈവ്
try to
പ്ലേ
develop
ചെയ്തപ്പോ അങ്ങനെ
in
വന്നു.
such a way that it won't
അന്നേരം
go
ഞാൻ
wrong.
ഓർത്ത്
Okay.
കണ്ടിന്യൂസ്.
ഇപ്പൊ ഓടി ഉണ്ടോ?
ഇപ്പൊ
And
ഇല്ല
the
കോള്
most
ഇപ്പൊ നിന്നതാ
important
തോന്നുന്നു.
part is the presentation.
ഇപ്പൊ
കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
ലൈവ് ഇല്ല.
And one of the biggest mistakes that
ഇപ്പൊ ലൈവ്
most of the
ഉണ്ടാവും.
people
ഞാനൊരു
make
മിനിറ്റ് അവിടെ
is like
ഫെനിച്ചേട്ടനെ
they
മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെന്ന്
give
പറഞ്ഞു.
the presentation the last 10 minutes or last 20 minutes. Like, yeah, saying that this
അതറിയത്തില്ല.
is not the
ഞാനിപ്പോ
most
ആ
important
ലിങ്ക്
thing and
കണ്ടപ്പോ
blah blah
ഞാൻ
stuff.
ജസ്റ്റ് ഡിസ്കോഡിൽ പ്ലേ ചെയ്തു. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക്
Believe me, guys,
2 ഓഡിയോ
you
കേൾക്കാം.
need to
അപ്പൊ
have
ഞാൻ ഓർത്ത്
at least
രണ്ടുപേര്
2 hours. I would
സംസാരിക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും.
say
അപ്പൊ
if you can have it more than that,
ഞാൻ യൂട്യൂബിൽ
well and
പോയപ്പോ
good.
യൂട്യൂബിലില്ല.
You have at least
അപ്പം
2
ജസ്റ്റ്
hours
ആ കോള്
completely
ഞാൻ
dedicated for the
ഇച്ചിരി ടൈം
presentation.
ബാക്കിലേക്ക്
Like
ഇട്ട് പ്ലേ
presentation,
ചെയ്തപ്പം ആ ഓഡിയോ,
you
അതായത്
need to curate a
രണ്ടുപേരും
lot of things
വിടുന്നേക്കും.
while
ഒരാൾ
you're
ഫോൺ
presenting. You need to
പിന്നെ
focus on a
പുള്ളി
lot of things
പറയുന്നു.
while you're presenting. And
ഓക്കെ
the
ഓക്കെ.
most important thing is having a story.
അതൊന്നുമില്ല അവിടെ ഫെനിച്ചേട്ട് മ്യൂട്ട്
Like
ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്.
you need to
അതന്നെ
have a
നോക്കട്ടെ.
story which
ഓക്കെ
follows
ഞാൻ
your
കേട്ടപ്പോ ജസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞേ ഉള്ളൂ.
idea or what
ഞാൻ
you're going
ആടാ.
to develop.
ഓക്കെ
Uh, yeah, let's take an example. What example do we need to take? Okay, yeah, let's take the example of Amazon. Amazon initially started with books and then they are developed. Like, yeah, whenever you look at, whenever you're presenting a product which is similar to Amazon or an e-commerce product, what you can say like say is like the story is happening where a person who is sitting at his home is not able to go outside. He's not able to go to shops or purchase the things that he wants. He's stuck upon there. So he need to find a solution for that. And that's where our idea comes in. So you can create a story which validates your product because every problem can be converted to a story. You will be having a problem that you're trying to solve. Convert that problem to a story, and your product is how you're going to solve the problem. And the end or the conclusion is how your product is able to solve that. Create a story when you're presenting, and I'm sure that's going to help you pretty much. And the most important and focusing part that you need to have is on the beginning. Like clearly explain what was the problem you are solving and how you have solved it. Because what happens is like you're having 2 hours of presentation preparation, and when you are creating the presentation, you will understand your product might have deviated from the initial idea that you have taken up. So it's time to curate your idea, like curate your story. You need to change the story in such a way that your product or what you have developed, what to say, justifies that. Because like you are trying to build something like an e-commerce platform, or you try to build a general purpose e-commerce platform, and you got confined to something which is only restricted to books. So change your problem statement, change your story. Don't put it something like someone who is not able to stay, someone who is at the house who can't buy things. Just say that who is not able to buy books. So that's how you can curate a story to align with what your solution. And then you need to say that how you solved it. And the next most important thing is talk less. Like just don't talk too much on theory like we are using that kind of a stack blah, blah, or like a lot of stuff like what I was in most of the presentation they'll be talking a lot about the technology stuff like I am using an Android, I am using the front end as this black and they'll be going in depth details about the Java, the XML, or every kind of a stack that I use. Like suppose if you are using React Native, you will be going into what React Native, what is React, what is JavaScript. Guys, that just knows about that. There is no need to talk much about the dull theory or how all these things work. Just show what you've done. Show it in the most creative way. Focus on what you're talking. Avoid talking about the technology that you used or the technical background of everything. You needn't say about everything. Like in the initial slide or the second slide or something, you can add all the technology stack that you have used. Just put it there and let it be there. It's because like whenever there is a question coming up regarding what is stack you have used or something concerning that, or that's the point where you need to show all those things. So yeah, that's it. Like just don't focus too much on the technology because technology can change over time. All those things can change over time, but your idea or the how you come up with a solution is what makes it unique. And if you haven't managed to implement a feature, don't say that like we didn't implement feature X, we didn't implement feature Y, because judges or the audience or the participants or organizers, no one is interested on what you're not able to do. Because you can think of catching the moon by your hand. but it's not practically possible and you weren't able to do that. So we aren't bothered about that. Just say on what you are able to do till that point. Okay, just focus on what you say. Just focus on what you have done so far, and don't talk too much about technology. So, if a presentation, consider your presentation for 7 minutes. Spend 1 minute in introduction or creating the story or formulating the story and just what is the solution that you're coming up with. And in the next 5 minutes, you need to show what you've done. Like you need to show what you've built or what you've developed and how it aligns with your problem. And you will be having 1 minute left. Like in 7 minutes, you are having 5 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for showing your product, 1 minute for introduction, and you have got 1 minute for conclusion or ending the story. So this is the most important thing. You need to focus on what you say. And this is a few tips that I want to give you guys. One is be truthful. Like if you did something before the hackathon and if the judges ask you, just say that, yeah, I did it before the event or before the hackathon. Or if there is something that you need to disclose, just disclose that because the judges that is coming for this event might be having some quite pretty much good industry experience and they'll be easily able to understand whether you are able to do this on the time or you guys have did something or you guys have copied something. And if they're asking whether you have used any APIs or any third party integrations or like any external stacks or any open source codes, just openly say that you guys have used that. There is no need to say that I have developed it from scratch or all those stuff. There is no need to develop anything from the scratch or anything. You can use existing codes or stuff. It's fine, but there should be something that you have did. That's the most important thing. Be truthful. Always be truthful. Like whenever you're presenting, make sure you're truthful. If you have made any mistakes or if you did something or if the judges ask you something, always be truthful while you're answering. Uh, and then the most important thing is like try to complete as much as you can because having a great idea won't make you the winner. Having a good product makes you the winner. That's what most of the evaluation is based on. Having a completed product or something that you can use. That's what is the most important thing. And the next thing is don't be afraid to experiment. Like it's basically like don't go too far fetched. Keep it within the confines or within the limit. Like you want to try out something in this product, do that. Like but give it a time frame and try to
Gopiga,
complete that within the time frame. If it fails, it's fine because it's a learning experience for you.
Yes.
Hackathons is not only about winning. It's
ഇങ്ങനെ
about learning
സംസാരിച്ചോണ്ടിരുന്നാ മതി.
experience. It's about interacting with others or learning from the peers and all those things are there. So don't be afraid to experiment. Just give it a try, but always
എന്താടാ
keep in mind the time that you're having.
ഗെയിം എന്താ ശരിക്കും?
Next thing is be supportive to your teammates
ഗെയിം
or other
ആ
participants who are there.
എടാ
Since it's an
ഓക്കെ
online
എടാ
hackathon,
എടാ
you guys
ഞാൻ
won't be
പറയാം,
having
ഞാൻ
like
പിന്നെ
too
പറയാം.
much of interaction with other
ആഹ്
participants, but try to
ഈ
interact with other
ചാനലിനകത്ത് ഇപ്പൊ
participants. Try to
സംസാരിക്കണ്ട.
understand what
നേരത്തെ
they are
ഞാനും
building, what they
ബില്ലോട്ടൊക്കെ
are trying to
സംസാരിച്ചു.
solve. It's not
ഓക്കെ
because
ഓക്കെ
you
സോറി.
can try to solve something
ചാറ്റ് നോക്ക്.
better than that, but it will give you a generic idea of how people think or how people are able to come up with solutions. And supporting your teammates is essential. Uh, like don't do the blame game while you're developing. Like if you say you are developing something and you are able to do your part perfectly well, but your partner is not able to do that on time, just don't go on doing the blame game during the event. Uh, Try to help him. Try to make him complete that, everything on time because your teammate, what he does, is very much important for the final result. Simply doing the blame game won't do any good. So try to avoid that. Be supportive to your teammates. And the next and most important thing is you need to win because there are 1,400 participants. Amongst that, only few can win. 1,000 participants are registered for the event, and like consider each there is a four-member team, and amongst that, only 16 or like we are having a different kinds of prizes, different category prizes. Only 16 to 20 people will be able to get the prizes, and rest others don't think that you are not winners. Try to create an impression like you can create an impression in yourself within yourself because you are able to do something or you are able to achieve something within the gifts given or stipulated time frame. You are able to do that, so you can create a good impression about yourself within you. You can create an impression among your friends. You can create an impression among the organizers or the judges because you don't know what's going to happen. There are a lot of people who are coming into the hackathon who can be a potential recruiter, who can be a potential mentor, who can be a potential venture capitalist or something who can help you in your future. So it's all about creating an impression. Because I have seen in hackathons like the winning products will get the prize and they will just go. But some of the failing products, because they weren't able to complete the entire thing on time, but they will be getting a further level of funding from one of the judges. They can go grow up, they can grow high. Things like that has already happened in many of the hackathons. So always be genuine on what you're doing, try to create an impression, and take a deep breath. Like, I can promise you, this 40 hours of this hackathon won't be a smooth journey. You guys will be facing a lot of ups and downs. Whenever you are facing a downtime, just sit down, take a deep breath, focus on yourself. If it's necessary, give yourself a small break. That's all good. And come back with more power, do more things. And that's the end of my presentation. If you guys have got any questions, you can ask. Anything, everything is fine. You can ask anything about general hackathons or anything. It's all good. So, guys, any questions? Okay. Is it clear what I said so far? And guys, don't think this is the end. There is another session aligned back to back with this. There's something with Discord overviews coming up. So, any questions on the tips or tricks or anything that can be any approaches that can be taken on hackathons or anything? Feel free to open up. You can ask anything, whether it be any kind of stupid ideas are fine. It's all good. No
Hello.
question. Yeah. Yes, Alex.
Okay. Yeah. So my question is like, how are these evaluated? I mean, is it about the scope of the product we or the the solution we come up, or how much impact does it have? Like, if you see that in that perspective, how are these proposals being judged
Okay.
overall?
Yeah. Like judgment generally takes an evaluation metrics that is being generated by the event committee. There's an evaluation metrics. But most importantly, your idea will be like the evaluators will be looking at the idea, what idea you are putting in, and what are the solution like you are come up. What is the problem you are trying to solve? What are the solutions that you have come up with? And whether you are able to implement it or not. That is the most important thing. Like uh, speaking of a solution is an easy part. Whether you are able to implement the solution in a manner that which you said, that is where most important thing comes up. So your idea has importance, your solution or the problem that you're trying to solve, everything has important. But all those important comes up once you are able to implement that into a possible product or a solution. Like you need to implement the product or implement the you need to build the solution. Only then everything comes up. And if you're not able to build the product, your idea or your anything you have won't matter, doesn't matter. It only matters after you build the product. So most importance should be given to the product. And after that, it should be idea. But I know it's not so easy because you need to have a clear cut idea of what you're building to have a product. So give it all equal importance and focus on the end product. You need to build the product. Without building the product, nothing matters. If you build that, then the idea or how you are able to do that, everything comes up. Yeah, welcome. Anyone else? Any questions?
Hello.
Yeah, Sri.
Yeah. Okay. Being a first year student, and this is my first hackathon, so is there something that I have to keep in mind? Um,
Yeah. Okay. So since it's your first hackathon, just don't be afraid of failing. That's what I have to say. Like you might not be able to build a final product. It's fine. It's cool. Just take the learning. That's the most important thing. If you will be able to learn a lot of stuff while you're building that, building the product that you're planning during this hackathon, that is pretty much great because since the first hackathon, you will be only getting used to what this hackathons and all these steps is. So keep in mind to follow these steps, like to have an idea, to communicate with your team, to identify your skills. That's where all these things comes up. At the end goal of any hackathon is not about winning the first prize or getting the cash prize or anything. The goal of an hackathon is to identify yourself, what you are good at, or whether you will be able to do this or do that, or what are the skills that you need to develop over time. That's where the focus comes in. So focus on yourself, focus on the idea, try to implement it as much as possible, and have a good evaluation of yourself and try to get feedbacks. You can get the feedbacks from other teammates or from the organizers or from the judges or it's anybody you can find. Try to get feedbacks on what you have did or where you lack or anything. That's pretty much the most important thing. Like since your first time.
Thank you.
So, in case my team is making an app, is the product's UI or stacks used important, or is just the functionality enough?
Um, First priority is for functionality. Like having a beautiful UX is great because uh, it can be pretty much appealing, but if the product doesn't work and you have a beautiful UX, it doesn't matter. So as I said earlier, focus on the functionality first. You just create as like try to make it as beautiful as possible. Like don't focus too much on the UX. Don't spend too much time on the UX or UI because that comes secondary. Initially, you need to complete the functionality. Once you're done with the functionality, you can dedicate someone in your team for the UI UX implementations, and they can improve the product. That's all good. But first of all, you need to have it perfectly working. The functionality is the most important thing. I have a question. How does review work? Will it be 1:1 presentation, so you have to submit a video? How does the review work? Will it be? Yeah, it's like the team is to judges. There will be a presentation over that, and you have to submit a video also. I believe you need to submit a video also. It's part of the evaluation. Also, you'll be having an interaction with the judges. Do we get 40 hours to make our product? Yeah, since this is an online hackathon, I believe the organizers have made it in such a way you guys will be starting the hackathon on 28 at 6 p.m. and you will be getting time till 30 morning 10:30 a.m. Right? If I'm wrong, the organizers can correct. I guess you will be getting that much time. Yeah, it's about 40 hours. Generally, it's 24 hours. Since it's an online hackathon, we are giving you business time.
Yeah, so I think that's all about it.
So, guys, yeah, thank you for listening to me all this time. Yeah, I got one more question. During the presentation, are we able to answer the business use case questions like marketing, funding, etc.? Like if you know that, and if the judges ask that, if you can say it, it's all cool. You can say that, or else it's not such a big deal because you're trying to solve a problem and feasibility and everything comes as a part. It is there. I wouldn't say it is not a part. It is there, but having a proper solution is the most important thing. You can further work on the marketing or funding. You can easily say that like, so we haven't thought about that till the point. Like we are thinking about how can it be done. That's all good. Having a proper product, proper solution. That's the most important thing. And yeah, I guess that's the last question. And thank you guys for bearing with me for all these times. Yeah. So it's me signing off. Bye.
Okay, so I hope you guys have got an idea about hackathons. Yeah, so we shall, and yeah, thank you so much, Fenny, for your valuable time and for the informative session. Thank you. So we shall move on to the next part. I hope all the participants are aware of the fact that a mode of communication for .hack 2022 is primarily Discord. And at least some of you guys might not be that familiar with Discord. So for you guys, we have an overview session, a short overview on Discord right now, and it will be taken by Mr. Kiran S. Baliga, the chairperson of IEEE Computer Society Student Branch Chapter MAIS. So welcome, Kiran. Over to you.
Okay, hi. My name is Kiran, and I know this. I am just coming from another email account. So I will just share my screen. So I hope you guys have seen the Discord screen, right? Okay. So shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. If you don't know, Discord is an app that you can use to communicate with others. So there are many channels with which we can communicate, and where most of you must have joined the server by now. And while you are joined, you must be added to a guild as now. So when you take the app, you might be viewing the server as shown as in the screen. You will be added to some guild. So currently, I am showing as a guild one member. This screen is what a guild one member would see. So you will have an access to guild one text channel and a voice channel, and everything other is general channels. You will have a guild coordinators. Uh, for each guild, you will have corresponding coordinators. You can see them in the right side. For those of you who are using from the mobile version of the Discord, you will have to swipe from right to left to view the right panel, and left to right to view the left panel. Uh, Everything else is basically just like you chat. So I will just explain the purpose of each channels. The rules channel will have the basic rules about the about this server. That you will get the announcements and stuff in the announcement channels, and you will also receive resources in this resource channel. In the text channel, you will receive a welcome messages. uh, Here's a channel. The off-topic channel lets you connect with everyone and just chill off during the hackathon period. And the general channel is used to just text in general. And the networking channel is to get, there are many people who are joined for the hackathon, and everyone is very much different, and you could connect with everyone. You could benefit from them. So the networking channel was provided so that you could network with everyone, and you could definitely benefit from there. And there is a help desk channel so that you can ask if you have any doubt, and we will try to clear as fast as we can. And there are voice channels. There is a general open mic and help desk channel. And just on overview for the channel, you could, when you join them, it's just like essentially meet screen. And okay, so you can see the stream in here. You could also present your screen, turn on your video as well. And to end this meet, you could just disconnect right here. So you will be having a lot of icebreaker sessions and some pre-events as well. So at that time, you could just meet with others. So you could also talk with others in the channel. There will be also an open mic channel where you could just uh, basically like an open mic stage, uh, just like the club deck cap, I think. So now, and there is a mentor launch for the so if you are at any point stuck with your project and you need help, you could always we will have mentors who will help you. uh, and the guild channel, there your each guild coordinator will be contacting you from the guild channel, so they will be providing you the further instructions for the event. So I hope this is enough. So at any point, if you are having any doubts, feel free to contact us. You could see the different roles here. You could contact your guild coordinators or anyone from the volunteer or core team or the disc coordinator as well. Do you guys have any doubts? I hope I was clear. Okay. Irene?
Yeah. So if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to ask. So yeah, I think we can wind up with the session. I would like to especially thank Fanny and Kiran for spending your valuable time with us besides your hectic schedule. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the participants. We had a good count today. And thank you to all of you for attending today's session. Thank you all. Good night. So see you all on 28th. Dot Hack inaugural ceremony.